Warning: the Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern. and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here as Twilight has hit the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame. This is Darlington Raceway. It's the third of our 4 Crown Jewel races on the season. We've already run at Indianapolis. We've already run at the season opener at Daytona. We've got Charlotte coming up in just a mere few weeks, but here tonight, this is a track that a lot of people want to be able to pick up a checkered flag. As a matter of fact, in the past, we've seen 2 drivers pick up their first, well, actually, if you count in Benny Watson, the inaugural winner as well, 3 drivers pick up their first career win in Duracell Cup Series competition at this very racetrack. Tonight could be the opportunity for a lot of our young guns to look towards, because I'll tell you what, this has been quite a youth movement here so far in Season 6. We've ended up having a number of drivers get their first career wins already this season, including William Howard, Jack Dunnard, Joshua Osborne has gone to victory for the first time in his career. Daniel Voyle, Zachary Fitzwater back at Indianapolis, and just recently last week at Dodge Motordrome, we had Destin Bolin go to victory lane. So it has definitely been an opportunity for the younger drivers, and I really feel this next-gen car plays a big part into this to be able to step forward and put themselves in the forefront of our screens as far as potentially getting a playoff position. They've kind of, at least for the time being, left the veterans in the dust, as so far really the only notable veterans that we've had go to victory lane: Nick Gunther, Mitchell Collins, Chris Darlington, of course Kyle Matthews, one half of the defending champions of the series. So we'll see if here tonight, a track that has so many different nicknames, if this is where the vets are going to step up and they're going to be the ones to go to victory lane. As a matter of fact, so far, I remember I mentioned this statistic back in the Daytona 500 where no rookie, and it continued on with Darlington's win this season, has ever won the Daytona 500. Well, no rookie has ever won here at Darlington. We're not going to count the Benny Watson win in Season 1 because nobody was a rookie at that point since we had not had a previous season, but so far in the 5 previous races we have been here before, nobody donning a rookie stripe has gone to victory lane. Maybe that'll be broken here today. We'll have to wait and see. Front row, how about the hometown driver, Jessica Shelton, just a stone's throw here from Darlington, South Carolina. She's going to line up on the pole position. Shelton looking for her first win on the year, and first win in quite a while. Been quite a winless streak for that 0-2, but everything is trending in the right direction for Shelton points-wise. She jumped up 6 spots in the standings after a good run last week at Dodge Motordrome. She was a driver that at one point was actually outside the top 35 in the points for a majority of the beginning of this first half of the regular season. She's now just outside the top 20 in points, 21st in the standings. Tonight could be the night for her to be able to break into victory lane, picking up S3 Motorsports' second win on the season. And it's an all-female front row as Laura Chung, who's still looking for her first career win. She's going to put that number 77 Toyota Camry out of Auto Junction Racing on the outside of the front row, her best qualifying position so far to date. Laura Chung comes into this race currently 32nd in the point standings. She is trending the wrong way. She's been free-falling through the standings for the last couple of weeks. In row 2, you've got Benjamin Miles, dead last in the point standings. Now, last week when Destin Bolin went to victory lane, he was 41st in the point standings, gained a couple of spots. He's now 39th in points coming into this race, but Benjamin Miles being dead last in the standings. Could we have back-to-back weeks where a driver struggling in points is still able to find victory lane? Alongside of him is going to be Ryan Butcher. And that number 78, Ryan Butcher's kind of been up and down this season. He's right in the middle of the point standings, 22nd in points. He's looking for his first win on the season. Of course, that was the team, the 78 team, that got the regular season championship last year. We'll see if Ryan Butcher can maybe find victory lane here tonight as he'll line up behind his Toyota teammate. But why don't we go down trackside? Why don't we get those most famous words in motorsports, and let's get ready to go racing here tonight at Darlington Raceway.
Drivers, start your engines!
Right side of your screen, you will see the starting lineup for tonight's 74 lap feature, as well as the previous winners of this event. Only 2 of our 5 previous Darlington winners in the field here this evening, Dylan Young and Cole Deaver. We saw Benny Watson, Jack Mitchell, and Matthew Rodriguez, the other former winners in the showcase race last week at Dodge Motordrome. We'll see them further on down the line. Matt Haas is your points leader coming into this race, 5 points in hand over William Hoer. So that points gap closed up after last week. Michael Norman sits third. He's 27 points back. RJ Bishop is fourth. He's 35 points out. And Levi McIntyre is still staying up there near the top of the points. He's fifth, 40 points out. James Qualls, Nick Gunther, Ali Liera, Jack Dunnan, and Mitchell Collins. They are your top 10 in the standings. Of our 11 previous winners, 9 are inside the top 30 in points. Chris Dollerton's 33rd in points. Destin Bolin, 39th in the standings. We'll keep an eye on those 2 Fords during the course of this race. Out of turn 4, Jessica Shelton will bring that DeWalt Tools Chevrolet Camaro to the start-finish line. And for the 6th time in Duracell Cup Series history, we are green at Darlington. Those with the well-trained eyes may notice that this is an entirely different Darlington than we've been to in the past. This is the legacy version of Darlington, if you will, where there are no safer barriers. So presenting even more of a challenge to these drivers here tonight to not leave with the famed souvenir, the Darlington stripe. Lap 1 led by Jessica Shelton. Ali Liera will move into second. Keith Batson now to third as that top line starting to fade back. Benjamin Miles heading it. McIntyre will clear for fourth, and there's last week's winner, Destin Bolin, now moving into the top 5. And we've got a battle for the lead between Ali Liera and Jessica Shelton heading into turn 1. You know, Destin Bolin's victory last week, well needed, has been struggling in the points really since the start of the season. And a big reason why he might have been able to have gotten that victory was based off of the showcase race that we had prior. Nick Barney ended up finishing inside the top 5, gave Destin Bolin good starting track position on row 2, and he was able to translate that into a victory. So I really feel that when we get to our other 4 showcase races in the second half of the regular season, they are going to have so much of an impact onto who's going to make it into the playoffs and who isn't. As you saw, a little trading paint there between Levi McIntyre and Ali Liera. Liera led that last lap. McIntyre now will forge ahead in that single entry out of Shadow Cult Racing. Now he'll leave the door open, and Destin Bolin will slide his way in. Darlington's a very narrow racetrack. Be very surprised if you see these drivers force the issue 3 wide here tonight. It really just cannot hold it that way without causing an issue, causing a wreck, and tearing up a lot of equipment. As Destin Bolin now going to show the way here, 1 week removed from picking up his first career victory here in the Duracell Cup Series. It's the next to last opportunity as well for drivers to lock themselves into the All-Star race before having to go through All-Star Open qualifying. Next week we'll be at the Chicagoland Speedway for the final race, the first half of the regular season. Chicagoland was another track this year. Whoa, we got a car on the wall back there. That's Ali Liera in the 16. Looks like she gathered it back up, but can start to compile a list of drivers getting a Darlington stripe. The 16 would certainly be on it at this point in time. Saw a couple of other drivers look like they may have gotten the wall here off of turn 4 in the past couple of laps, and that'll continue as this race continues on under green flag conditions. The right front tire going to build up a lot of heat. Cars are going to want to push through the center of the corner, up off of exit. There's Levi McIntyre into the wall back there. I think Keith Batson may have just gotten a Darlington stripe as well. But I mentioned about the fact a lot of different tracks have been making their debut on the schedule. North Wilkesboro, Coke Zero Super Speedway, Dodge Motordrome last week. A lot of other tracks have gotten changes to their positioning on the schedule. We saw Indy here during the first half of the regular season, and next week Chicagoland had a change of its positioning on the schedule. We're looking at the 33 of Mitchell Collins. Right now, the highest running, second highest running driver that has formerly gone to victory lane this year. That was back at Manassas as he's showing the nose there, looking for second on Ryan Brommer. Nothing doing there. Behind them, you got Benjamin Miles in the 25, and there's Will Hoer in the 83. Your rookie points leader by 10 points over Reggie Fogelman and Jack Dunnard. Second in overall standings and trying today maybe to get the points lead back from Matt Haas. There's the 8 actually, just 3 positions back, and those 2 were separated by 5 points coming into tonight's race. Nice center of the corner there through 3 and 4 for Ryan Brommer as he'll pull to the inside of Destin Bolin, and he'll look to take the race lead for the first time tonight. Look at that, forcing his way to the race lead as he gets into the driver's side door of the Maxwell House Ford Mustang. Cody Lamas back there in the 13 car. Talk about a lot of big name drivers that have had issues here this season. Have not really gotten off to the best of starts. Cody Lamas would fit that bill. He is 40th in the point standings right now. Actually had a poor performance last week at Dodge Motordrome and dropped from 37th down to 40th in overall points. Mitchell Collins has now taken the race lead away from the 87 of Ryan Brommer, who is, oh wow, into the wall back there. I was going to say he was fading back, and that's going to make him fade back even more. As Mitchell Collins looking to pick up the 4th win of the season for Michael Norman Motorsports. So far, Collins, Darlington, and Rick Johnson have all gone to victory lane for that team. Michael Norman's the lone man out. However, Michael Norman's having a great year. 3rd in overall points, 2 top 5s, 4 top 10s, average finishing position to 15th. Not having the best of runs right now, though, is Michael Norman, as he's mired back mid-pack in the 23rd spot. As Cody Lamas will look to the inside of Benjamin Miles for 2nd place. Mitchell Collins showing the way. We're going to step aside for just a quick moment. We'll be back here to the action from Darlington in the Duracell Cup Series 12th race of the season. Welcome back to Darlington Raceway as we might be closing in on our first round potentially of green flag pit stops here tonight. Not certain what the fuel window is for these drivers, but we're starting to get the field broken up a little bit here, mostly in turn to drivers having to check up for others that have been going up and getting those famed Darlington stripes. We've only got, I believe, about 11, 12 cars right now up in this lead group. And then you got a gap back to Anthony McCrory. Jose Mills, I believe, got in the wall just a couple of laps ago in that 12th position. So with the field getting strung out, it's going to make the upcoming green flag pit stops, if we have them, very important. It's going to put a lot of pressure on these pit crews, as now you see Cody Lamas drop into the inside on the 33 of Mitchell Collins. Last couple of seasons, Chevrolet has had a stranglehold on victory lane here. Jack Mitchell, Cole Deaver, and Matthew Rodriguez all winning in bow ties. Ford has a victory at this track with Dylan Young, and then Toyota got the very first win here at this racetrack with Benny Watson back in season 1. No Dodge in the field, so they had a couple of tries with Bulldog Motorsports and a couple other teams, but no Dodge in the field, so we won't have a different manufacturer in that regard. But we do have the Mazda of Nick Gunther trying to pick up his 2nd win on the season, 3rd win of his career. Nick started this race shotgun on the field, and it looks like in the first 16 laps or so, he has been able to work his way up to 23rd as Mitchell Collins hardened the wall back there in the 33. Mention the fact that this is the legacy version of Darlington. There is no safer barrier, so I have to wonder, getting that contact into the outside wall there, getting that Darlington stripe, how badly does that affect the aerodynamics of the car as see James Qualls back there get the fence. There's Nick Gunther that we just talked about. This is 20th position that he's picking up right now. And we unfortunately don't have a good enough camera angle to be able to kind of see the right side of these race cars as they go by, but I'd love to know how many have got right side damage, how many have brushed the wall, how many have pounded the wall. I think Noah Hendrickson there, the rookie out of Haas Racing, just pounded the wall out of turn 4. I don't think we can get a shot of him now. It's really, no, we don't really have any camera shots here to be able to feature the right side of the race car. Oh, you could definitely see some right side damage, I think, there on the right side of the 99. Levi McIntyre, who was out in front for a portion of this race. Was that Dylan Young just up ahead got the wall? I think it was. RJ Bishop back here. Caleb Fogler in the 28. Almost looks like there could be some front end damage on that car. I wonder if he got into the back of somebody that checked up in front of him after getting into the wall. And there's the 42 of Ali Liera, who's right now the last car running, 2 laps down. Her teammate Zachary Fitzwater is showing the way, so I'm assuming that the 16 made an unscheduled pit stop. Yes, we are seeing that there was a pit stop made by the 16, but don't know if it was for damage repair or not. If it was replay worthy, then we will be showing you what happened there with the AccuDoc Solutions Chevrolet Camaro that drew her to pit road. That's going to be back-to-back poor performances there. It's a big hit there for Will Hoer in the 83 off of turn 2. But that'd be back-to-back bad performances out of that 16 car, who was 4th in points not 2 weeks ago. Dropped to 8th in the standings coming into this race, and now is running dead last off the lead lap. And we got some cars on pit road. A couple of Fords, Dylan Young and Mitchell Collins. Those are a couple of cars that I know for certain did get the wall during the course of this run, so they may be coming to pit road for damage repair. Maybe a regularly scheduled stop, as Ryan Brommer just got the wall. Fitzwater just got the wall. I think the 66 might be pitting, as he just pulled low there off of turn 2. Well, maybe not. Kyle Matthews, our winner from a couple of weeks ago at Coke Zero Super Speedway. He is in the wall again. He was in the wall the last side of the racetrack too, off of turn 2. Now this time off of turn 4. You get the wall with an ill-handling race car. That ill-handling race car is not going to go away. It's just going to get worse. As Matt Haas now showing the way here. Points leader, looking for his first win on the season. Last time he went to victory lane, season 5, Daytona 500. So it's been over a season for him. Charles Sanford right behind him in the 03. Charles 16th in points. Good battle for 3rd. Carson Gum, former champ, got into the wall, and now Keith Batson will move on by him for the 3rd position, as Sanford is closing in on the 8 car. So Collins and Young have both lost a couple of laps with their green flag pit stops. They're hoping that this thing goes green so that way they could cycle back around onto the lead lap. But with not knowing what the fuel window is, I mean, are they able to make it the rest of the way? Will they have to pit one more time? My assumption is if we took this race, split it in half, we'd be at 37 laps. So if these drivers can make it to 37 laps, then they should be able to just one stop it. If they have to pit prior to that, though, that means that we're looking at a 2-stop race. Someone was in the wall a ton back here. Might have been Destin Bolin, might have been Rob Evans, who knows? Could have been anybody. There's very few drivers that are going to be leaving here tonight without a Darlington stripe. Try and update if anybody else dives onto pit lane. So far, the only drivers that have made pit stops in these first 25 laps of the 33, the 2, and the 16. See if we can find any battling for position. You got to go back here, just outside the top 10. Carson Gum, Jesse Turner, Daniel Voiles in that mix. Voiles, our winner from North Wilkesboro. There's our Texas winner, Rick Johnson, picking up a spot on the 47, who's going to brush the wall there off the corner. James Qualls in the 70, who had one of the best comeback runs last week at Dodge Motordrome that I've seen in a long time. We didn't tune into that race. Qualls started mid-pack, got spun down pit road under green flag conditions, did not get a caution. Lost a lap as a result. Caution then came out. He was able to start. Oh, speaking of caution, I think we got yellow. We'll get to the Qualls story in a minute. Caution's out for the first time here tonight at Darlington on lap 28. Matt Haas going to lead them back to the start-finish line. Batson, Sanford, Fitzwater, and Hoer will be the top 5. This was not what Collins, Young, and Liera wanted to see, because this is going to have all 3 of them trapped 2 laps down. They may be able to take a wave around, get one of those laps back, but this is going to hurt them in terms of trying to get back onto lead laps. Looks like someone may have had a spin off of turn 2 down the backstretch here. We'll cover that in a moment, as we're going to follow pit stops for the first time here tonight under caution conditions. And this now kind of puts the big question mark, at least for us up here in the booth, as far as how long could these guys have gone before they had to come to pit road. Is this the final pit stop of the day? There's a rookie on pit lane there. I'm trying to make out who that is. That Benjamin Snyder, perhaps in 74? Yes, it is. So he might have been the reason the caution came out. I'm also seeing a pair of skid marks there off of turn 4 on the front straightaway. Somebody got the inside wall pretty good there. That might have actually been the 74 of Benjamin Snyder. Not certain, though. No surprise, 4 tires, Goodyears all around. I think that's going to be the order for everybody here, and then for some of them, a little TLC to the right side of their race cars. So Matt Haas will look to win the battle off pit road, and well, it's going to be a drag race for second between Charles Sanford and Keith Batson. Who gets it? Was it Batson? I think it was by a splitter. Sanford comes out third, then Fitzwater, then Hoer. So Matt Haas will lead us back to green when eventually we end up getting the indication. Let's see if we can find out all of what happened. I also saw quite a bit of damage on the 24 Reggie Fogelman. Oh, he actually had a problem on pit road with William Hoer in the 83. We'll follow up on that in just a moment, because that could be detrimental to William Hoer's remainder of the race. And here is a look at what brought the caution out. It's Joshua Osborne, the 27, on the left rear quarter panel of Benjamin Snyder. As Snyder got the wall, and pretty good hit into that inside wall. I can't say a safer barrier, because there are no safer barriers at this version of Darlington for the live reality games Ford Mustang out of Lake Effect Autosport. So you guys have already seen it courtesy of the Interstate Split Cam, but I'm almost wondering if maybe the skid marks I saw there coming to pit road, if that potentially could have been something to do with the 16 of Ali Liera. And here's a look at what happens with Reggie Fogelman in the 24, who is making his way down pit road. He was towards the tail end of the field. Watch right side of your screen for the brown and silver Hershey's Ford Mustang of William Hoer. There he is, just now coming into shot. Oh, he had contact there. Was that Fitzwater and Poteet, I think? And then right here, Hoer comes out. Fogelman's trying to get in, and he overshoots his pit stall as a result. It's a very tight pit lane here. And Reggie Fogelman, as a result, I believe he ended up having to teleport into his pit stall, and I don't know if he got his service done and was able to return without going a lap down or not. And answer that question, no. He is still sitting on pit lane. There you see Mitchell Collins and Dylan Young. Lap machines, they were not able to get ahead of the pace cars, so they will remain 2 laps down. Matt Haas, the race leader, will pull up on the outside of those 2 machines. We should have a couple more drivers pulling up on the inside here momentarily, including Ali Liera, Benjamin Snyder, who ended up losing a lap due to the lengthy pit stop he had to repair the damage, and then when he eventually returns to the track, the 24 of Reggie Fogelman. Top 10 as we get ready to go back. Green flag racing are as follows. There's a gap there from Nick Gunther back to Ryan Butcher. There's something amiss on the Jesse Turner car. And I think he might be coming to pit road here as we get ready to go back green. Stuff right there for the 47. We'll follow up on that as we can. Matt Haas, the leader. Keith Batson, second. Charles Sanford, third. Zachary Fitzwaters, fourth. Will Horan, fifth. Then it's Carson Gum, sixth. Dustin Bolin, seventh. Eighth, Rick Johnson. Ninth, Cody Lamas. And 10th, Rob Evans. All 42 cars up to this point are still running. 37 on the lead lap as we get ready to go back green. Not quite halfway here in tonight's festivities at Darlington Raceway. 47 of Jesse Turner is indeed coming to pit lane. So he may end up losing a lap or a couple of laps here under green flag conditions, depending on the severity of what drew him to pit road. Mitchell Collins looking to get back one of his 2 laps via the inside line. Dylan Young looking to do the same. And look at Charles Sanford, very quick to get down to that inside line. This might allow him to be able to battle with Matt Haas for the race lead using the 2 lap machines as a pick. Sounded like Jesse Turner may have just been leaving pit lane, so he will lose, I believe, 1 lap here. As Sanford indeed will draw alongside of Matt Haas, and he will go to the race lead. Nice veteran utilization of those lap cars. Immediately getting down to the bottom, and he will go to the front for the first time here tonight. Matt Haas up to this point has led the most laps, 13 in total. 6 laps led for Destin Bolin, 5 led for Cody Lamas and Mitchell Collins. 2 laps led for Jessica Shelton, and 1 lap led apiece now for Charles Sanford, Zachary Fitzwater, and Ali Liera. Keith Batson going to follow Charles Sanford by Dylan Young. Collins falling 2 laps down. Dylan Young back to 2 laps down. Car that really did not get helped out of any of this was Matt Haas. He is still trapped up there on that outside line, and he is falling back quickly. Loses a spot to Cody Lamas. Now 1 to Rob Evans. He might be able to tuck in front of Nick Gunther, which will keep him inside the top 10, but I think he'd be around 9th place. As Keith Batson will look for the top position in the number 39. And we got contact in the back. Mitchell Collins and Will Hoer have gotten together. Hoer's going to save it. That's going to lose him a few spots, drop him from 12th back to 15th, and I don't think he'll be all that thrilled with the 33. The lap car of Mitchell Collins. Carson Gums now moving to the second as we got Charles Sanford. He got put up into the wall by Cody Lamas, and he's riding that wall quite a bit there, all the way through 3 and 4. Now we're getting closer to the second half of this race, and these drivers are now not giving any inches. They are taking what they can get. As Batson now out in front, Gum into second, Rick Johnson right there in third. Ooh, look at the 39 drift way up the track through 3 and 4, opens up the door, and the caution's out. Caution's out. Oh, we got a wreck in the back here too. James Qualls just got spun. He'll slide across the line in the 15th position. That should be where he'll be scored. He should be able to get that spot back as look out. I don't know if he got the inside wall with the back end of that car or not. Oh, now we got a wreck further up. Kyle Matthews and Daniel Voiles have gotten together. Oh, and now Joshua Osborne just got a piece of it. Matthews' car is, I can't tell if it's beached on the banking there, the apron to banking or not. And then we got more cars that are smoking up ahead. That's Jack Dunnard in the 88 and Dylan Young in the 2. What in the world happened? Caution's out for the second time tonight, and we got a bunch of torn up race cars as everybody is on pit lane. Alright, so what brings out the caution initially is the question. I'm wondering if maybe the 2 and the 88 might be able to answer that question for us. We'll then look and see what happened to Qualls, and then we'll see what all happened with Kyle Matthews and Daniel Voiles. Alright, so let's see if... I think the caution's actually already out at this point before I'm even looking at the... Yeah, it is. Caution's already out before I focused on Dylan Young. Oh, wait a minute. Levi McIntyre, RJ Bishop might have actually been the reason for the yellow. Yeah. Alright, so this actually starts with the 87 of Ryan Brommer getting into the wall, but we'll focus on the 98 of RJ Bishop because he's going to run headlong into... Oh, actually, Joshua Osborne got the 87. Then Bishop runs in the back of the 27. Levi McIntyre is into the 98. That's what brings out the caution. And let's find the 70 of James Qualls. There he is. Okay, so he gets spun by... Was that the combination of Zachary Fitzwater and Dylan Young? Let's go back. Let's rewind it back a little bit here. Yeah, Fitzwater's into the wall. Dylan Young and Qualls kind of force it 3 wide, racing back to the caution. Qualls is going to make some contact with the right front and right rear. Nothing too terribly bad. And then here's Jack Dunnard in the 88. Oh, they're wrecking up ahead somewhere. Oh, Voiles and Young got together, apparently. And this is how Kyle Matthews gets involved. So what happens here? Oh, 26 gets hooked. So if we go back here, we're going to go back all the way to the James Qualls spin because this kind of correlates into why the 26 got hooked. Watch him go low here to avoid the 2. He takes it 3 wide, and he's going to have such a shallow entry into the corner. He pushes up. Young does kind of come down as well. Hooks the 26 up into the wall. And then Kyle Matthews, right there, gets hit, as did the 88 of Jack Dunnard. And as mentioned, Kyle Matthews, see right there, his car comes to rest, kind of beached up there on the banking. And then Joshua Osborne, second hit in the last couple of laps as he clobbers the 09 of Kyle Matthews. So I think we got it all documented of what happened there. And unfortunately, we got away with one in our first caution. This time we're not going to be so lucky. We've got some drivers back in the garage. Jesse Turner did fall a lap down, and looks like he'll be having to line up on the inside line here. Nope, correction. He's actually going to line up ahead of the leader, Rick Johnson, on the tail end of the lead lap. So we'll see if he can get himself a quick yellow. But Daniel Voiles, Jack Dunnard, RJ Bishop, Levi McIntyre, and Dylan Young have all officially retired from the race. Looks like Kyle Matthews, Mitchell Collins, Ali Liera, Reggie Fogelman, they all made some pit stops. They're back on the racetrack. But Matthews has fallen a lap down. Benjamin Snyder and Reggie Fogelman still -1. And then 2 laps down for Mitchell Collins and Ali Liera. Got a bunch of cars further towards the tail end of the field as well that have got some damage sustained from what we just saw. Anthony McCurry ended up getting a piece of that incident. So we'll see if those cars are up to speed or not. It will be Rick Johnson who will lead us back to green, Carson Gum in second. Samuel Ryder's now up to third. We haven't talked about the 63 all night long. Good performance for him so far. Cody Lamas and Nick Gunther the top 5. Then it's Keith Batson, Rob Evans, Matt Haas, Ryan Butcher, and Charles Sanford the top 10. Closing in on 30 laps to go here tonight at Darlington. This is going to be quite an interesting restart with the leaders boxed in The 47 on the tail end of the lead lap, and 5 lap machines on the inside line as the green flag is back in the air. And look at Carson Gum immediately kind of pulling a page from Charles Sanford's playbook. Jumping to the inside, following behind the up-to-speed lap machines. Rick Johnson's going to get trapped behind the 47. He's going to lose, if not the lead, at least the top 4 positions here, as Ryder, Lamas, and Gunther are all lined up on the inside line. Ali Liera and Mitchell Collins, a member, are on the same lap, so they're actually battling for position with each other. That would be for 36th. Last year, Matthew Rodriguez, the defending winner of this race, guess what car number he went to victory lane in? That's right, the number 19. In a conglomerate effort last year with Charles Belding and Carson Gum. But now Samuel Ryder going to the point. And yeah, I mentioned it before, there's been a huge youth movement here in terms of success for drivers in the Duracell Cup Series lately. Number of rookies getting their first career wins, like William Hoer and Jack Donard, and most recently Destin Bolin. Samuel Ryder could add his name to that list here tonight. Sam is one of 3 drivers that is still looking for his first top 10 on the year, along with Dylan Poteet and Benjamin Miles. As Nick Gunther moves his Mazda into the 2nd position. Nick, of course, picking up that victory at Sonoma, getting Mazda its first career victory overall in Duracell Cup Series history. As a matter of fact, that was not only the first career win, but first career top 5 and top 10 for a Mazda in Duracell Cup Series competition. But now trying to continue to build on that historic occasion and get Mazda their 2nd win of the season. Rick Johnson right there in that 3rd spot. Cody Lamas holding down 4th, and Carson Gum in the 5th position. Then you got the lap machine of Mitchell Collins before you get back to 6th place Keith Batson. And what in the world happened to all these drivers back here? 7th place on back. Way off the pace. There's no caution, so I don't know if there was like something that happened on the restart or what. There's a huge gap back here to Matt Haas, Rob Evans, Charles Sanford, William Hoer, 7th place on back. I don't know if somebody ducked out of this lead group line to come to pit road and it held everybody up. I'm looking at my telemetry right now, and a couple of drivers are off the lead lap that were not before, including the 27 of Joshua Osborne right there now that the leader's caught, the 87 of Ryan Brommer, and the 28 of Caleb Fogler. Did we have a wreck take place that didn't bring out a caution, perhaps? Where are those other 2 cars I just mentioned? There they are. There's Brommer and there's Fogler. I wonder if someone got into the walls, somebody got into the back of them, and it checked everybody from 7th place on back up. I don't know. But now we're double wide, about 5 rows deep here. Lead lap and lap down cars, as the 27 obviously off the pace. You can see the inside line going to forge ahead. Gunther will go to the lead. Carson Gum will move to 2nd. Keith Batson will look to move to 3rd, and this is going to help that 2nd group catch. Whoa, Matt Haas got the wall there, but this will help that 2nd group catch up that you can see back there. I've been so impressed with James Qualls in that 70 car last couple of weeks. Okay, I'm going to tell the story now. Hopefully a caution doesn't come out and break it up, but last week at Dodge Motordrome, Qualls qualified mid-pack. He got spun down pit road, lost a lap. Caution comes out. He restarts on the inside line a lap down. Battled to get back on the tail of the lead lap, catches another caution, and worked his way up to finish inside of the top 15. And you look at what's happened to him here today. He's been up inside the top 15 most of this race. Got spun coming to the last caution as Cole Deaver, former winner here, just got forced down to the apron. But he ended up getting spun across the start finish line, and I think it was 15th place, and he's back up here again battling. Didn't really get much damage. So it's been a good couple of weeks there for James Qualls, who was 6th in overall points. There is Cole Deaver, who right now is the only driver that's got a shot of getting his 2nd win at this racetrack, Darlington. The other former winner, Dylan Young, is out of the race. Deaver right now in 7th place. That victory in Season 4 for Cole Deaver was his first career victory. He would go on to find victory lane again later on that year. Ended up making it into the playoffs for the first time as a rookie. As lap cars playing havoc here, Caleb Vogler and Benjamin Snyder holding up Carson Gum, Keith Batson. That's allowing Nick Gunther to scamper away. Again, though, we don't know the fuel window situation. We went back green with little more than 30 laps to go. Could these drivers have to pit in the closing stages? Oh, we got a wreck! Vogler's gotten spun by Rick Johnson, and look out! He's going to get his teammate. That was Jordan Lopez in 38, and there's more! That's another teammate! Oh, and this is looking so much like what we had happen over in 3 and 4 last week at Dodge Motordrome. The track is completely blocked up. You've got Chung, you've got Sanford, Hoer. Ton of drivers were collected up in that one, as there was just nowhere to go. Well, the question of can they make it on fuel, that's no longer a concern, because this caution comes out, closing in on 20 laps to go. Oh, man, Caleb Vogler, I'm pretty sure it was the 93 of Rick Johnson that got him. And I think all 3 of the Blue Oval Automotive Fords were involved. Mills, Vogler, and William Hoer. There's Sanford, there is Hoer, there's Laura Chung after a great qualifying effort. Her teammate Ryan Butcher, looks like he was involved. Oh, Quentin Moore. It's been a tough rookie campaign for that driver. And we got some others coming to pit lane that have got some damage. Ooh, I don't like where that 55 is. The race leader. He's going to lose the race lead. Carson Gum's going to win the battle out of pit road, but there they go. They get themselves... Oh, nope. Ooh, Carson Gum hooking bumpers, hooking fenders with Noah Hendrickson. I've already seen pit road play a factor into drivers gaining and losing spots so far today as... Oh, Destin Bolin just got into Matt Haas. That's the points leader. Just got pinned into the wall by the 12, last week's winner. Oh, boy. Looks like Carson Gum. No. Make that Keith Batson's going to win the battle off pit road. In the 39, Carson Gum, Nick Gunther, then I think Rick Johnson and Nathan Ormond may be the top 5. All right, let's go back and see what happened here. Whew. There's a lot to cover on this one. Let's find the 28. So this was, I believe, on the backstretch. Battling with 39 of Keith Batson. Watch the 93 further behind. Yeah, the 93 gets a huge run. Oh, and I think Caleb Vogler didn't realize it. He was trying to get to the inside of Benjamin Snyder. And when he pulled down, he blocked the 93. I think I saw Benjamin Miles get involved there. And there you see them all pile in. Qualls, Liera, Hendrickson, Moore. There's Butcher. Kyle Matthews skimming the top side there in the 09. He almost chastained it there through 3 and 4, which worked out to his favor. Austin LaPlante, I think, got involved. Here's a look from the 38 of Mills coming into the picture. He's the one that took the first big shot. I think the 25 of Miles ahead got a piece. Yeah, a little bit right there. Oh, he gets put up into the wall. Michael Norman also. And here they come piling in. Oh, Darlington was in it. LaPlante was indeed in it. Look at Kyle Matthews and Zachary Fitzwater. Let's take it on board with that 09 of Kyle Matthews. He was a long ways back. I'm sure his spotter made him aware of what was going on ahead. Kyle was in the 34th position. Make that 30th position. Let's see where he ended up crossing the line afterwards. My scoring has got him in 21st. So you see the caution lights on. There's the wreck up ahead. And watch this. Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? I see a top line open. He just rides the wall. as did the 66 of Zachary Fitzwater right behind him. And now beside him. Wow. There have been some big hits here tonight, and back-to-back weeks where we've had the track completely blockaded up. No flips this week. We had a couple of flips last week at Dodge Motordrome, but no flips this week, and it's turning into a race of the survival of the fittest right now. As this will give us a restart with less than 20 to go. Slowly starting to have the retirees trickling in from this latest incident. We can add into that list that will not reach the conclusion of tonight's event: Ryan Butcher, Caleb Vogler, Charles Samper, Jose Mills, Will Hoer, Quentin Moore, and Austin LaPlante. So second in points, out of the race. Matt Haas, who we saw get pinned to the inside wall, looks like he is in 19th. He did have to come back down pit road again, repair that damage. But he is still on the lead lap according to scoring. Looks like we're going to have a total of 30 cars still running, but only 20 of them will be on the lead lap. We'll try and give you a rundown of those lead lap cars right now. Cole Deaver is your race leader. Benjamin Miles is second. Third, James Qualls. Fourth, Keith Batson. Carson Gum, fifth. Nick Gunther, sixth. Seventh, Rick Johnson. Eighth is Nathan Ormond. Ninth, Rob Evans. And 10th is Cody Lamas. Pole sitter Jessica Shelton in 11th. Samuel Ryder, 12th. Reese Banks is 13th. 14th, Michael Norman. 15th, Dylan Poteet. 16th, Zachary Fitzwater. Chris Dollerton, 17th. Anthony McCurry is 18th. 19th is Matt Haas. And last week's winner, Destin Bolin, is 20th. Those are the drivers on the lead lap here with what's going to be, looks like a 17-lap dash to the finish. Fuel is no longer a concern. These drivers can make it the rest of the way. But we've had 3 cautions so far here tonight for 13 laps, and we may not be done with yellows just yet. 2 seasons ago, Cole Deaver got his first career win here at the hallowed grounds of Darlington, and he leads us back to green flag racing here in Season 6. His teammate Kyle Matthews was on the inside line, and he utilized him very well to be able to clear for the top spot and leave second place Benjamin Miles behind. That 25 might not be up to speed. Remember, he ended up getting a little bit of front-end damage when he got into the 28 of Caleb Vogler, that last wreck. So James Qualls moves into the second position now. Keith Batson into third, and Miles will drop back to fourth as he had fifth place on back, having to get by the slower car of Benjamin Snyder, which they're still having to do. Ryan Brommer right now in the 21st position. He is the first car 1 lap down. And now Qualls will show the nose to the inside of him to try and get by, while also trying to keep the 39 of Keith Batson in his rearview mirror. Now Cole Deaver is almost pulling a Daniel Voiles from North Wilkesboro right now. Deaver started this race from 41st position, and he is now up here and leading this race. Then again, Nick Gunther started shotgun in the field, and he was out in front for 6 circuits. So here tonight at Darlington, the proof in the pudding that where you started wasn't necessarily going to translate to where you finished. It was possible to work your way to the front. Carson Gum, we saw him out in front for a spell, and he qualified 35th. As Batson will move by for the second spot on James Qualls, trying to get forward back to victory lane for the first time since Season 2 here at Darlington. Laura Chung in the 77, just now coming back onto the racetrack. That's an unscheduled stop for her. Right now, Benjamin Miles, first car he would have to worry about would be Michael Norman, who's just now moving into the 5th position. Dylan Poteet into 6th, Shelton into 7th. Carson Gum's losing a lot of spots, as is Nick Gunther and Rick Johnson and Nathan Orman, because they're still trapped on that outside line behind Benjamin Snyder. It's got to be so difficult if you're a slow car, though, because you yield to the outside line. If they're stacked up double wide, where do you go? There is no third lane here at Darlington. It's just the outside wall. Michael Norman looking for his third top 5 of the season. He's been very consistent this year as Keith Batson just moments ago got around Cole Deaver, and he has gone to the point. Can't recall off the top of my head the last time Keith Batson went to victory lane, but I believe it was season 4. Might have been Richmond, if I recall correctly. So it's been a winless streak here for the owner of KB Racing Enterprises, and maybe here tonight he can get his way back to victory lane. Keith Batson comes into this race 25th in points and trying to score one for the veterans. Got veterans actually as your top 3. You got to go all the way back to 8th place before you find one of those young guns, Zachary Fitzwater. Shelton, Poteet, Norman, Miles, Qualls, Deaver, Batson right now comprising the top 7. Well, Batson, after he got ahead of Cole Deaver, Deaver has not been able to really stay in touch with him. Batson may have the faster race car at this point in time, which says to me he does not want to see a caution. Qualls might have a bit of damage there. We know he ended up getting into the wall when they came back to the caution flag under the second yell. Oh, he's in the wall now. Oh, remember Qualls actually, if I'm not mistaken, was actually in that stack up though over in 3 and 4 also. So yeah, trying to fight off that damage as he's trying to keep it inside the podium. Mitchell Collins, that 33 is a lap down, but up to speed. Actually, he's 2 laps down, I think. Double checking. Yeah, he's 2 laps down. But I think he's faster than the 39. If he can get up here and mix it up with Keith Batson, that could be the break that Cole Deaver needs. I'm hearing some idling engines. That's the 74 of Benjamin Snyder up ahead, and we know that he is very much so off the pace. He held up a number of drivers. Carson Gum, Nick Gunther, Rick Johnson and company, who have now fallen back to about 15th to 18th when they restarted up inside of the top 10. And oh, look out! Oh, Snyder went to block the 39. Is the caution out for that? It is. The caution is out. The 74 was sideways enough that the race officials are throwing the yellow. And we will get back green. And this is going to be with less than 10 to go, which means that, oh no, the slower cars are going to be in single file formation with the lead lap cars, and that 74 is so off the pace right now. This could be perfect scenario for the 39 of Keith Batson. Well, Batson did nothing wrong. He was trying the top line there, and I don't know if Snyder knew which lane the 39 was going to take, and he pulled up into the left side, left front of the Motorcraft Ford. I'm wondering, was that any damage sustained by Keith Batson? Nobody's got to be on pit lane here unless they're coming down to repair some more crash damage, or maybe towards the tail end of the lead lap and might think some fresh tires will help them out. But let's go back and see just exactly what happens here. 74 was so off the pace, the closing rate was huge. You can see he had that wide exit off of turn 4. He keeps it up against the wall. He's actually in the wall. And Snyder, maybe under the assumption the 39 was going to attempt to pass low, kept it up on that high side. We don't know necessarily the communications that were going on. Maybe the 39 relayed the spotter of the 39 to the spotter of the 34. Hey, when we get to you, give us the inside line. And maybe Batson just overdrove it off that corner and couldn't get it to turn down. Boy, yeah, that closing rate was huge. So caution out for the 4th time here tonight. And it's going to set us up for a shootout from Darlington. It will be with less than 10 to go, so your lap cars will be intermingled with the lead lap cars, which means you've got Keith Batson separated from Cole Deaver via Benjamin Snyder and Mitchell Collins. You've got James Qualls separated from Jessica Shelton via Jesse Turner and Reggie Fogelman, so we're going to have little intermittent battles here, and I don't know if necessarily Keith Batson's going to have a challenge for this win. Unless we end up having another yellow flag. Cole Deaver's going to have the restart of his life, and he's going to have to get around these couple of Fords very, very quickly. Well, a reminder, next week we're going to be at Chicagoland Speedway for the final race of the first half of the regular season. Last opportunity to win your way into the All-Star race. And the following week, we bring you the All-Star race weekend, the All-Star Open qualifying races, and of course the main event, the All-Star race itself from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Following week, we go right back to points racing as we're not leaving Charlotte. It's going to be playing host for the 6th straight season, the Coke 600, longest race of the year, to kick off the second half of the regular season, the part of the season I like to call the chase towards the chase for the championship. Keith Batson trying to lock himself into the All-Star race, also trying to lock himself up a playoff spot here tonight, if he can pick up the victory. No drivers out of the race after what we just saw. 20 drivers on the lead lap at this point in time, and intermingled in the field, you've got 10 lap machines. A couple of drivers that really needed good runs here tonight are getting them. Benjamin Miles in the 25, dead last in points. Right now he is scored in 16th, still running on the lead lap. Dylan Poteet, 41st in points, is currently in the top 5 in 5th. Reese Banks, that rookie out of Lake Effect Autosports, 38th in points. Last time by, he was scored in 7th. Samuel Ryder is right now in 9th. He was 34th in points. Rob Evans has been up inside the top 10 most of the evening. He's 11th right now on scoring, and he was 35th in points coming into this race. So good runs by a lot of those drivers. And Anthony McCurry is still running in 20th. He was 36th in points coming into this race. We talked about the two drivers that were below the cut line coming into tonight's race. 33rd in points, Chris Darlington. 39th in points, Destin Bolin. Destin is currently in the 8th position, 1 week removed from his victory at Dodge Motordrome, so trying to continue to claw his way up towards the top 30 in points. Chris Dollerton, he is still running. He is in the 19th position. Dollerton was 7 points behind the cut line coming into tonight. Destin Bolin, if I could do the quick math in my head, he was 36 points behind the 30th in the standings cut line coming into tonight. And a number of drivers around that cut line have had issues this evening. Jesse Turner's a lap down. Caleb Fogler is out of the race. Laura Chung is multiple laps down. So big opportunity for those two drivers to maybe get themselves up there into the vicinity and above that 30th in the standings cut line for their previous wins this season to count towards a playoff spot. Saw the pace car dive onto pit lane. It will be a 3-lap shootout here at Darlington. Green flag in the air for Keith Batson, as they're going to go to work on Benjamin Snyder as quickly as they can. That's the lap car of Mitchell Collins that's going to lead the charge. So Cole Deaver right now is relying on that 33 to get him up to the 39, who had a great launch. I think if you're Keith Batson, you wouldn't care if this race ended under green or under caution. Just with the gap he's got right now, back to the 33. It was not for position, remember. It's the 09 that Keith Batson has to worry about, as he'll see 2 to go, this time by at the stripe. Gap closed up. It's about 3 car lengths from the 39 back to the 33, and he is being tailed by that 09. Good battle further back there. Fitzwater, Poteet, and Shelton battling for 3rd. Deaver's on pit road. Deaver couldn't make it on fuel. What in the world? Oh, we got almost a wreck there off of turn 4, but we stay green. The white flag's in the air. It's all Keith Batson. What happened with the 09 of Cole Deaver? From 2nd place, he dove to pit lane. Was it fuel? Was it something else? That turns 2nd over to Jessica Shelton, but she's got almost a straightaway between herself and Keith Batson. Off turn 4 for the final time. Keith Batson's going to get his first win of the season. The 39 is back in victory lane, and tonight, it's at the track Too Tough to Tame. And Cole Deaver will finish, it looks like, in the 17th position. It appears a couple other drivers couldn't make it as well. I'm seeing James Qualls and Chris Darlington that might not have been able to make it. Wow. Did they just not get enough fuel in the race cars under that last pit stop? I do not know. There you see Deaver just now coming around to take the checkered flag. But Ford is back in victory lane at Darlington for the first time since Season 2, and Keith Batson picks up his first win on the season. That's Keith's second top 5, third top 10 on the season, and score 1 for the vets right there, as he was 25th in points coming into this race. And he may have just put himself into the playoffs for, I believe it would be the second time in his career. Race standings are official. Keith Batson with the win. Jessica Shelton almost coast-to-coasted it here tonight. Started on the pole, brings it home in second place. Dylan Poteet in third, Zachary Fitzwater in fourth, and Reese Banks. I believe that is Reese's best finish on the year with a top 5 run. Destin Bolin riding the waves of that victory last week. 6th place here tonight. Samuel Ryder, great run for him there in 7th. So that's 2 of the KAB Racing Enterprises cars inside the top 10. As a matter of fact, all 3 of them finished inside the top 12 with Orman down there in 12th. You got Cody Lamas with a great run in 8th. Rob Evans in 9th. Matt Haas, the points leader, somehow managed to bring that thing back for a 10th place finish. So he will continue to extend his points lead heading into next week. Michael Norman may be the new 2nd place driver in points, as he'll bring it home in 11th. Nathan Ormond in 12th. 13th for Rick Johnson. Carson Gum 14th, and Nick Gunther was 15th. Last car to finish on the lead lap was Anthony McCrory in the 16th position. So you had the Fortnite Squad Racing cars all there 14th through 16th position. Cole Deaver, I believe he couldn't make it on fuel. They had to top off the fuel tank on that thing to be able to get him back to the checkered flag. Was going to more than likely finish 2nd. He ends up 17th. Jesse Turner in 18th. Ryan Brommer in 19th. Reggie Fogelman in 20th. And the Chris Darlington, James Qualls, they were on the lead lap, as was Benjamin Miles. Miles add him to that list of drivers that apparently could not make it on fuel. They ended up finishing a lap down as a result in 21st, 24th, and 25th. That allowed drivers like Turner, Brommer, Fogelman, and Hendrickson to pick up some spots in the closing stages. Kyle Matthews as well. Here you see the rest of the drivers that either finished way down off the lead lap or did not finish this race at all. 4 cautions during the course of this race took out LaPlante, Moore, Hoer, Mills, Sanford, Butcher, Fogler, Voiles, Dunnard, Bishop, McIntyre, and former winner at this racetrack, Dylan Young, the, up to this point, last Ford to go to victory lane at Darlington. Now that mantle is handed over to Keith Batson. Going to be a tough points day for a couple drivers in particular, including R.J. Bishop, Levi McIntyre, and William Hoer, who were all top 5 in points coming into this race. Jack Dunnard was 9th in points coming into tonight. So they're going to take some pretty big hits in the overall point standings heading into next week, which is going to be at Chicagoland Speedway, the final race of the first half of the regular season before we prepare for All-Star Race Weekend and then set our sights on the second half of the regular season, the chase towards the chase for the championship, for drivers to get those last-minute spots in the playoffs. But did Keith Batson lock himself up a playoff spot here tonight with his victory at Darlington? He very well may have. Congratulations to him. Thank you all for tuning into tonight's race from the Lady in Black. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, part of the crew today. We showed you full picture results. You are now looking at your point standings heading into next week. Until then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.